So yeah, and I think we'll see more of that up there too as Mount Hood continues to develop. So yeah, kind of fun. Now right now up on Timberline, it's a little bit wild. We've had some pretty intense thunderstorms developing on the north side of the mountain. So that's something that we're watching quite closely here on Doppler radar. You can see it developing. There it is, the cloud over Mount Hood, and then you see the lightning bolt form as we get into it. So again, this is developing right now. That's mainly on the north side of the mountain, not the south side, but still it is fairly intense getting those storms up there. And I'm going to switch on back to our Timberline sky cam too. Here it is, and you can see the clouds developing as I spoke. Beginning to break up a bit. Most of the activity is over on the other side of the mountain, then heading up towards Hood River and Parkdale. So you folks, you're probably hearing some rumbles of thunder already. This is the view from our camera out in the Dalles. There is the Columbia River, and the clouds look rather dramatic. And this is roughly over here where that lightning strike was happening. So again, we will continue to monitor radar for that storm and many, many others. Look at all the blue here. That's a good indication of how strong these storms are. We start seeing the blue color overlap onto the reds and the oranges, and that means the rainfall rates here are really intense, like several inches an hour, and we're probably getting hail from these storms too. We've already had several severe thunderstorm warnings out for some of the storms in central Oregon today, and we're likely to get more. And there was also, Prineville's right about in here, so there's a storm there. East of there, in a fairly remote area up in the Ochocos, there's a flood advisory because the storms are putting down such heavy rainfall. Watch them blossom. This is just impressive. Look at this. Look at these cloud tops just go boom and develop into the right there. See that? Really, really strong storms when you get that kind of a signature on the satellite imagery. Now the rainfall. Prineville, 41/100ths of an inch. LeGrand, 31/100ths of an inch. And then down to Medford, we have measurable rain. This is the area that is going to see the heaviest storm activity and rainfall over the weekend. We have a severe thunderstorm watch in this pinkish area until 10 o'clock tonight. That is surrounded by a fire weather warning until tomorrow morning, because with all the lightning strikes we're getting, that's a concern as well. So that's happening there. The rainfall that we're getting helps, but you don't always get the lightning striking where it's raining. Lightning can strike as much as 10 miles away from the storm that produces it, so you can get lightning hitting well outside of the shaft of rain coming out of those storms. This is the big picture pattern, and this is the upper level storm system that's moving into Northern California tonight. It's producing the storms that we have, and it'll take another 24 hours for that to move east of us, which is when our weather will finally calm down. So with that in mind, let's look at Futurecast. Tomorrow morning, not too bad, except Southern Oregon, where it'll be raining again, or still, I should say. They're really going to get a lot of rain, which in a way may be a good thing. Help to put out any of the fire starts down that way. However, if you're traveling on I-5 or anywhere and you are driving and one of those thunderstorms happens to hit you, just remember, with the heavy rainfall, it can bring up the oils and the grease in the road and make it slick. ODOT reporting several cars hydroplaning on I-5 north of Grants Pass for that very reason this afternoon. Now, as we go through time, notice the storms aligned over the Cascades here, especially down around Odell Lake. And then as we go into Saturday afternoon, and this is Saturday evening, things begin to settle down for us. We'll have the marine layer cloudiness in the morning on Sunday, but other than a few sprinkles over the coast range, we should begin to get some sunshine and then some really good weather for the rest of the, well, for much of the 7-day forecast, let's put it that way. Rainfall totals, yeah, we get a bit, but just a few hundreds here. But look, as you go south and east, Medford now forecast to get over an inch, Bend a half an inch, and Pendleton significant rainfall too. So again, that's where the heaviest stuff will be. Mostly cloudy tonight, just a few showers, and the same thing tomorrow, just scattered showers. Should be dry for that Timbers game tomorrow night. Will be dry for the Thorns on Sunday night. And then Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday all look good, around 80, lots of sun. Cools off, maybe some showers again towards the end of next week. A very interesting August, ladies.